All right, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Donovan Sadiq. You guys are tuned in to another week of Don't Believe the Hype, the Donovan Sadiq edition. I am joined by my partner in crime, as always, 32 years, 31 years plus, Demetra K from the Demetra K Show, who last week on your show you had financial guru, some guy that has the same last name as you, Walter.
My brother.
Yeah,
yes.
your brother. And we're producing the show now, so if you guys have not had an opportunity to watch that show, please watch it. We are going to produce it. I'm going to put it out probably late this evening. So,
well, by the time you guys see that show,
right? Yeah, it'll be up. But he has a company, the Cornucopia.
Cornucopa.
I'm sorry, Cornucopia. But talked some really good stuff. I mean, did you learn anything that's?
Oh yeah, well, it's my brother. So a lot of my financial knowledge is actually where I actually got it from him. Mm-hmm. And I just felt like it was important to bring him on the show because we have a lot of people always asking us financial questions, and we know some things.
Some things, yeah. We're not an expert like this guy.
Yeah, he is well-rounded in just about everything. I always tell people, and my daughter actually asked me this yesterday. She says, well, if he wasn't your brother, would you say he is the best financial advisor ever? I said, yes, I would say that because he just is. I can't think of, there's a lot of experts out there, but I can't think of one that is better than him.
Well, I think a lot of his success comes from the fact that he has the gift of gab. And what I mean is you also got to be a salesman as well as an advisor.
Oh, yeah.
Because you got to convince your client to take that risk or to take that.
Well, it's a lot of things. I mean, before in sales, people think I got to sell the product first. No, you got to sell yourself first. And so he's just been able to do that. He's naturally charismatic, has a great personality, jovial and stuff like that. It helps. In addition to being knowledgeable, he inculcates a bunch of knowledge. He's reading all the time. You rarely see him as what you would call engaging in escapism. Like watching trivial TV, the Medias, and although he likes Medea, but he doesn't do that kind of stuff all the time. It's always knowledge.
Exactly, and we're going to give you guys the link to that as well on this show because if you got any questions or comments, I mean, he's a great person to go. I mean, I get a good chunk of my financial thought processes from what he told me and advised me to do and kind of think of certain things like that. So that's a great show, and we're going to bring him back from time to time.
Oh, yes.
To do that and maybe work in conjunction with producing or promoting his thing because we're not experts, but I'd rather put the link
have
down.
The expert
have the expert and get the link where you guys can get involved to yourself. Okay, let's get into it. You guys, welcome to the show. Don't believe the hype. As always, right behind us is a green screen, and I know you guys enjoy the videos and stuff, but what is behind that green screen?
A window.
A window.
To the wall. I'm just
there's a window, and in that window is real life. And what we want you to do and what we try to do is don't listen to the sound bites. Don't listen to what we say. Number one, research what we say. But don't listen to the sound bites. Don't listen to these people that just, because it's popular. Pull this curtain down and look out that window and see what's really going on and why are they trying to push you in this direction and push you in that direction.
Absolutely.
And we're talking about why should Joe Biden get the black vote. And I think that's very important to know because he is all of a sudden the front runner and, he was Obama's vice president for 8 years and all this other stuff like that, which goes to tell you how much Obama really cared about black people. But anyway, that's another story. But before we get into that, we got to ask the question everybody wants to know. D, your hair's braided.
Oh!
So,
I say, what question might that be?
Yes.
I actually just braided myself yesterday.
Is there any particular reason why we did the braiding?
I'm just one of those people get tired of combing my hair. It's getting to the point where it's getting longer.
Right.
And I want to cut it. And so I'm like, no, because my man wants it to grow.
Yeah, he needs something to hold on to.
All that. And he got something to hold on to.
Right. Yes.
But no, I just thought I'd braid it down and just keep it in the braids.
Got your baby hair going in the front. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, real quick, you don't braid your initial hair. Why is that?
My baby hair or the hair in the front?
Yeah, the hair in the front.
Because I just don't want it to get pulled out.
Right, because up there, that's where your hair's more sensitive.
Yes, I'm not trying to be bald. I like my edges. My edges are pretty cool.
So for a lot of ladies out there, you guys don't know, do not tighten your...
Don't snatch your edges.
Your edges, especially by, where your hairline is. That's very, very important. So anyway, you guys have heard Joe Biden has jumped into the presidential race. And everybody's excited. Oh my gosh, it's a second coming.
Second coming.
It's another Obama administration and all this other stuff. And everybody's just so excited. Now, the most excited group is, guess who?
Might it be black people?
Black people and Generation Fail. Now, what's Generation Fail? That's people, baby boomers from 1942
Those
to
are his
1966.
words, not mine, Ma.
To 1966. Those are the baby boomers. And they're just, oh yeah, Uncle Joe, he's the guy to go to, blah, blah, blah. You know, we miss the good old days. Okay? Nothing against Obama. I know why he was there. That's why I don't have a problem with because I understood he wasn't going to do shit for black people. I knew that. Here's the problem. People say, oh, the good old days. Was the 8 years of Obama really that good for black people?
I mean, it depends on who you ask. Because, some people say, well, he did the, and I can't think of the specific name, but the Farmers Act, where, but you got to pay attention to wording. Minority farmers were wronged and lied to by the government. And so he provided cash to right the wrong that the government did. And that bill included black and Native American farmers, which is why the minority comes in. You also have where he, what was the crime bill that he actually, he actually reversed some part of the crime bill. To where, because back in the day, black people, and we'll get into that about Joe Biden and Clinton and all these, and Bush Sr. actually made the bill that made the disparity very large between crack cocaine and powder cocaine. And that it was, before Obama reversed it, it was 100 to 1 of people going to jail. And now it's 18 to 1.
18, wow.
18 to 1. And so he made the law in that black people are not going to disproportionately go to jail because they had this thing that crack was,
crack is whack.
Well, it is, but more deadly than powder cocaine.
Right.
Which the difference is white people use, or it is said that white people use more powder cocaine, the classy drug, opposed to crack, which brings out the boogeyman and all that other stuff.
Right. So. And if you guys know anything about chemistry, pure cocaine is a lot more destructive to the body than, crack was, the things why crack was so bad is because you don't know what it was cut with.
Well, crack is not worse than powder cocaine because what is crack? Right. It's the residual. The left over from the cocaine.
Exactly.
So it's
how it's smoked that gave you the high.
And, to your point about Joe Biden, he authored a lot of those laws stating that not black people, I'm sorry, he didn't say black people, but he said crack cocaine was horrible, and and we need to lock up the thugs and the violent offenders, and because George H.W. Bush had a crime bill, if you will, a crime plan, but Joe Biden argued that plan didn't go quite far enough. It wasn't tough enough. It wasn't harsh enough. We needed to be very egregious when prosecuting these thugs. That's his word, these thugs, and he had all this medical evidence that crack was worse.
Right. And George H.W. Bush, you guys got to understand why George H.W. Bush was not very hard on, the crime bill and trying to get black people incarcerated. People say, well, George Bush wasn't so bad. Because, remember, this guy was a former Nazi. He was a former CIA head. And what was the CIA doing during that time? During the Iran-Contra and stuff like that, they were selling crack cocaine into the black poor neighborhood. So it wasn't in George H.W. Bush's interest to lock up all these black people, because you lock up all the black people, nobody's buying your product.
Right. So then you have somebody like Joe Biden
who comes to the second phase. Right.
Well, he's more or less like I kind of see him as the crusader, the knight in shining armor for, let's keep it real, white people. Because these niggas, not you, because it's from my hand. Yeah. These niggas are going to come into your neighborhood like they did back in the opioid crisis and cocaine, because cocaine used to be legal. Yep. But white people got it into their heads that when the Chinamen and black men took these substances, they had this voracious appetite for white women. Yes. So they made it illegal. It's just the truth. And so here he comes in the 80s and the 90s with the same ideology that we need to, for one, crack down on the crack. And not only crack down on the drug dealers, but crack down on the users. They all need to go to jail under the most toughest, because we need to send a signal, for one, to that community. And again, he never said black, but we knew what he was talking about. We need to send a message to them, and we also need to protect all white people.
Yes,
absolutely. Pretty much what we're saying.
Now, you got to remember, Joe Biden comes from the state of Delaware. Delaware is not very big, okay? I think it's not as small as that other state, but Delaware is not very big, okay? And if you look at the crime rate in Delaware and the lockup rate of the black people in Delaware versus the white people, it is, they say, something like, it's astronomical.
He wasn't playing.
Right. And that was just in Delaware.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you're a person that's raised in that kind of environment where, you can just crack the hell out of these minorities and blacks, especially the black, it's almost like, we're a minority, that's a subculture, but when you say black, you're at the bottom.
Right.
And as long as you're doing it to them and showing that you're tough on crime, you're good to go. But here's the problem with Joe Biden. I want you guys to understand this. And you got to know his history. Joe Biden is not getting my vote.
Nor mine.
Based on what he did in the past and how many lives he affected. But see, he says he's sorry, but remember there was an article during busing, and he said, I will be damned.
Well, he said that about reparations.
Yes.
Yeah.
He said, I will be damned if I'm going to be responsible for something that happened 300 years ago. And I honestly believe he still has those feelings to this very day.
They say he was only contrite when he started to run with Obama, because he knew those things would come back to haunt him. And so then he started to say, well, it wasn't always right. And this is where he used the medical industry, saying, well, this is the stuff that they told us. And so I just went off of what they told us about crack cocaine. And I thought, we need to get a jump on this so that it doesn't get out of control, like it was already out of control, right? But so this was his justification for implementing, not even implementing, but authoring these laws that were very tough on crime.
Very tough on crime. And don't get me wrong, it was popular back then as a politician that you showed how many tough on crime that you are. Now, who else that's running for president that has that kind of thought pattern? Kamala Harris.
And in the past, Hillary.
Yes.
They all are in the same boat when it came on being tough on crime on, as they would say, minorities, but we know who that really meant.
Right. So all of a sudden now remember when she wasn't running for president, she's tough on crime. I'm locking these black asses up, mothers, and I'm locking these truant people. You're going after people for truancy? Locking the parents
people
up?
Who already are poor. And was it $1,600 or something like that? Yes. And if they can't pay it, then they go to jail.
Yes.
Which, to your earlier point, she lied and said, oh, no parent went to jail under that. But yet you have all these articles and interviews of parents that saying, like, well, she lying because I was one of those parents.
And this is the kind of person you feminists want for president? Somebody that's going to lock up your children disproportionately? That's going to go along with the white supremacy. I'm going to say it. White supremacy?
Well, that's exactly what it is. But yeah, to Joe Biden, he's in the same boat with Kamala and Hillary. To me, he's no different. In fact, he's worse. Because he's been he's been in politics for about 50 years.
50 years,
So, Kamala's what? 50-ish?
Well,
2, 3, 4,
a couple years older than us.
So he's been in politics as long as she's damn near been alive. Mm-hmm. So he's done more damage.
Exactly.
It's just a fact. And so to the other argument that you're making, people say, well, the argument I made, well, he's sorry. He's changed. But it's like, how do you know he's changed? It's because he told you he changed it. Yeah, under the Obama administration, he was there when they flipped around the sentencing disparity.
Well, let me ask you this. Why would Obama pick such a man? Because you're supposed to vet your vice president. Why do you think Obama picked such a man?
I don't know, because it sounds like he said some pretty harsh things about Obama when they were campaigning.
Yeah, when they were campaigning.
Here's why.
Here's why. I think, my opinion, that sent a signal to the white, racist, liberal Democrats that, hey, ain't nothing going to change here. I'm your boy. Get behind me. I got this guy here. We're still going to be cracking that black ass every chance we get. Now, I'm sorry, I'm this. Cut the check, man. Show me how sorry you are by cutting the check.
Who you asking for that of Biden?
Yes. Cut the check. Now, but here's what everybody doesn't seem to understand. and this is the total gamut of it. There are over 20 candidates running in the Democratic
and counting.
race.
And there's some of these people I never even knew was alive.
Next week I'll be announcing my candidacy.
Right, me too. I'm right after you. Okay. Pretty soon we won't be sitting on this show
right.
together.
So here's the thing. I want you guys to think about this. Democratic Party. 532 delegates get behind Hillary before she even has an opponent. Who is the most popular politician in the country? Right now, again, it's Bernie Sanders.
I'm about to say Trump.
He just raised more money than the DNC and all of the candidates combined.
How much is, because I heard that, and I read that Biden is raising almost $7 million in 24 hours after he announced.
Right, but how is he getting it from? Special donors.
So then if you're making the difference that Bernie is raising among small donors.
Small donors and the grassroots.
But technically Biden has raised more.
Special donors. Now, who also did that? Hillary. Okay, now, I want you guys to really think about this. Really, and the guys listening, please think about this. They took the worst candidate possible and put her up there. I remember in 99 when she was thinking about running and stuff like that before she took the Senate seat. They're like, oh yeah, we want to run against Hillary. You know, the Republicans, they knew they could beat her because she was so unpopular. So now you're getting a guy that Hillary had 30-something years of a resume. Now you're taking a guy that has 50-something years of a resume of gas, goofs, and whatever.
Touchy-feely.
And you're going to put him out there as the quote front runner and expect him to win. Wait, and he was the vice president of a black man. And you expect this man to win.
Well, per the polls, now I know polls are skewed to whatever, but per the polls, it said if the election were to be held today, that Biden would win over Trump.
Anybody would win over Trump. But here's the problem. Bernie, who has, remember, they changed their rules and stuff so that now the superdelegates have to go on the second ballot and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. You don't think that they're going to try to rig the Democratic thing?
I'm not saying they're not, but I'm saying I'm just saying from what I read.
But here's going to be the problem. If they rig it, excuse me, cut you off. If they rig it, those people that were pissed off when they rigged it last time, where do you think they're going to vote?
Well, true, but I'm just saying this. Per the polls, and there's quite a few of them that says that Biden would win over Trump. Right now, this is all preliminary because nobody is really the nominee for the Democrat Party yet. So right now, the rigging is not even a factor. These are just people who were polled to say, hey, I will vote for Biden over Trump.
I don't believe that for the simple fact that...
Wait.
No, I don't believe that for the simple fact that fundraising the money tells you a lot. If Joe is using the Hillary thing and going to a few donors, that's only a few votes. But if this guy is raising $27 over a swath of voters, the polls is full of shit. The Dems are writing the polls. They're saying,
I'm saying it might be. I'm not saying that the polls are correct, but
but think about the math with that. How you got to look at your donor. If I support you and I say, because you got to show it, I got $27 from this person, $27. Oh, I got $7 million from these three people.
Okay, but listen, this is going to sound kind of stupid, but donation doesn't always equal the votes because I'm just saying from what I saw on my page when Kamala announced, I know people who donated immediately, but once they found out about Kamala, they changed their minds. Right. They're like, oh, I didn't know is what they would call she was a sleeper cell. Or, I didn't know all these things about it. I just got high on
the supply.
Yeah, so the point that I'm making is just because I donate now, we got, a year and a half, maybe? Things change.
Right, but here's my thing. Anybody can beat Trump if it's the right candidate that the people really want to get behind. But here's the problem. These are the Democrats and Republicans have the same donors.
Okay, the point that I guess we need to do is because even with all of that being said, should Biden get the black vote?
Absolutely not.
Right, and so I think that's where all of us who are concerned about the political process now, especially black people, really
cut the check.
Waking up. That's what we should be concerned with, because like a lot of times we get caught in with the statistics and all.
Distracted. We get distracted.
We're distracted. The question is, does he deserve the black vote? You and I are both saying no. A lot of other people are saying no, but there are many, 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 many more people saying yes. I'm voting for. I've seen it all. He's sorry. I believe him. I'm going to give him a second chance.
Okay.
Maybe he didn't mean it back then. I've seen it all.
Yeah, and that's mostly Generation Fail.
But no, there's a lot of young people who are saying this.
but here's the thing. If Joe Biden is not, and he's not even talking reparations. You're not talking reparations? No reparation talk, no vote.
Well, I think we should make this clarify this too. Mm-hmm. It's not that Joe Biden is against reparations in and of itself. Mm-hmm. He's against, or he hasn't really since in a recent last 12 years or so, he hasn't made a declaration as to whether he's with it or not, but he is most definitely on board when it comes to giving Jews, U.S. citizens of the Holocaust, money. He gave the Jews, he was the founder and the spearheader, if that's a word, of giving Jews $12 million to some survivors, U.S. survivors of the Holocaust. Did the Holocaust happen here? No. But he co-signed or was at the helm of giving that to him because he said that there's a lot of Jews who are living in poverty and it's not right. I'm paraphrasing, but this was what was saying. It's not right. They're living in poverty and they should be able to live out their last years in dignity. Mm-hmm. And so he's for doing that. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't want your black ass to have it.
Exactly.
Because, as he said in 1975, I'll be damned if I paid for something my father and my grandfather, whatever, had nothing to do with.
And whenever I hear that argument of a white person that says, well, I had nothing to do with slavery, here's the problem. And me and Pastor Don were talking about this on the earlier show. The problem with this, when white people say that, it's the stupidest thing. The Bible even says that. The sins of the father comes upon the children.
Will be visited.
Visited upon the children about 3 or 4 generations into it. So let's go back. Slavery, Civil War. How many generations back is that? My grandfather. My grandfather is going to be 96 years old this year, I think, something like that. He's up there. But so he was. So let's say he's born in 1926, maybe.
So most definitely his
father was a slave,
or definitely his grandparents.
Yeah, his grandparents were slaves. So that's only 3 generations,
right?
So the sins of the father will be visited upon the children, the grandchildren, the great grandchildren. So you're looking at least 3 or 4 generations,
right?
So how could you say you're not responsible?
Well, right. Well, they are responsible, but that's just racism. And I hate to say it, people who are in love with Joe Biden, that is just racism speaking. I mean, he doesn't feel like black people are worthy. What is Joe Biden, by the way? I can't
Irish.
So he's Irish. That's right. He's Irish. But yet he's advocating for Jews to get reparations.
The Jews that migrated here.
Yes, but you don't think black people should get it because he's not going to be held responsible for something he didn't directly have anything to do with.
Direct quote. I will be damned
if he has so. But my question is to black people who are so enamored by Joe Biden. I get it. It's the whole romanticism of it.
Of the Obama days.
Yeah, because if you've seen all the memes of them jumping out of cars with the shades on. They call them Batman and Robin, and they were just a dynamic duo. So a lot of people get caught up in that era. But Joe Biden was very clear about how he felt. Now, again, in a lot of his speeches, he didn't specifically say black people, but as I said to somebody who wanted to argue that with me, but did he say black people? I said, come on now, do the math. Who is disproportionately locked up? It's 33% of black people locked up in the United States of America, give or take, opposed to 30% of white people. 64% white people make up 64% of the population. Black people make up 12 to 13, 14, depending on what poll you're looking at. The population. But yet we are more incarcerated. And so if you look at the incarceration rate opposed and pair them with the laws that were enacted by your Bushes and your Clintons and your Bidens, who predominantly did that effect. In addition to crack cocaine was dropped off into black neighborhoods and made a lot of our parents and our grandparents or whatever,
uncles,
everybody,
sisters,
dope
brothers,
fiends that was served to them by our
government,
but our own government, but then passed down to our people. So it was it was well calculated.
Conspiracy.
But when it got out of control, but see, I think they always knew it was going to get out of control. But then here comes the prison industrial complex where now we need to fund our to fill these prisons. And so what do we have? We have these crack
industry.
Because remember what he said in his crime bill. Not only the drug dealers, but the drug users. And so you got more and more and more people going to prison.
And in the crime bill, and I read the crime bill the other night, there were supposed to be rehabilitation programs within prison. What happened to that?
Well, once you in there, who's gonna give a shit?
Exactly.
Nobody's gonna know what you're going through in there.
They cut those programs immediately.
And there's people, and this is what black people, especially you black people who are talking about, I'm voting for Biden, I don't care. He might be sorry, but there's still black people in jail. From the 1980s, the 1990s, under the legislation he authored. So, like, are you sorry enough to get these people out?
And think about another president, Kamala Harris. There's a man in jail still. And she's not talking about it. She's not doing anything to get it out. But yet, these are the people that you guys, because they do the popular soundbite. Don't believe the hype.
Well,
people.
Again, and I think we should, do a little math or statistics here. 70% of black people are registered Democrats. 88% of black people voted for Hillary Clinton in 2018. Therefore, black people, whether you believe it or not, are the lifeblood of the Democrat Party.
No, not true.
It is true.
No, not true. There was a recent convention or something like that where all those black women got together. You didn't see it?
I know where you're going with this.
Where the black women is the inter if it ain't for because these niggas ain't shit. These black men ain't shit.
But are black women black?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so that goes back to my original point.
Yes.
That black people, whether it's men or women, are the backbone, the lifeblood of the Democrat Party. They being a Democrat.
Absolutely, no, I don't disagree with you on
they
that.
can't survive without us.
But here's the problem with the black women, and I watched the candidates at that town hall there. They booed Bernie Sanders, and it wasn't like, super booing, but, if they didn't like he invoked Martin Luther King. Bernie, don't do that. When you're in front of a black crowd, you don't have to tell people what you've done. Your record speaks for itself. And I support Bernie, but he's not getting my vote because he's not for reparations. There's a big difference. I'm looking at Andrew Yang. So if you guys are saying, what is that? Look at Andrew Yang. Now here's an Asian man. I am dealing with people that will, pique my interest and going to do what I need them to do. I'm tired of these professional politicians. But here's my thing. This convention went on, whatever the deal is, and these women. I have a saying now.
What's that?
Black women love to be mentally masturbated.
I can see where you're going with that.
You put them on the stage and tell them how important they are. And, oh, girl, you're all that. We can't do it without you. I got my hot sauce in my bag. Girl, come with me.
But think about where we've come from.
No, I understand that. But here's the thing. Here's the outright evidence. Kamala Harris will lock your damn children up and so on and so forth. But yet, I'm going to vote for her because she's a woman. That's ridiculous. We're telling you this guy here is full of shit. Oh, but I like Joe. Oh,
I mean, you've even heard people say, we'll never get reparations. We might as well just go ahead and just vote for Joe Biden because he's the lesser of two evils.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
That's what people said, though. He's the lesser of two evils. We need to get rid of Trump. And as I said, it is not our responsibility as black people to get rid of Trump. It's not ours only. It's everybody else's. Like, we didn't get Trump in the White House, contrary to popular belief. Yeah,
stop being distracted, people. That's a distraction. We need to back candidates that are going to answer our questions and come to us that are going to address our problems. The days of, yes, sir, Ms. Nancy. Yes, sir. You want up the food stamps? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, oh yeah, that's good. Another $200. We're at a point now, and a lot of people, I get a lot of hate mail on this, especially from these black chicks, and I don't know why. But yet, you want to go around looking like a clown with purple hair. That's on you. I don't care. I'm just telling you, that's what you look like. You got the raptor nails. That's on you.
The hell is a raptor nail?
Those nail design where it's real sharp.
Oh my God.
I mean, what else would you call them? But anyway.
Oh, God.
But here's my thing. The days of just going along to get along, no. Even though the Democrats need our vote to win. I am tired of the congressional black talkers sitting up there talking to, and, oh, my time, and they're doing all this, entertaining us, which is great. You got to do more than that. I'm tired of the tap dancing.
Well,
address our issues. If you're not talking reparations, you're not getting our vote. And I don't care if we are the minority. Well, if we got to get him out of the White House. We got to get Trump out of there. Why? Well, what has Trump done any different than Obama, Bush, Clinton, Reagan, FDR, anybody? FDR! It took his wife for this guy to even start the Tuskegee Airmen and even get the blacks an opportunity. He didn't even want them in the plants when all the white guys were going overseas to fight. It took his wife to say, okay, the racism is out right there. We have to pull together and say, you know what? Now we're done. Cut the check. If you're not cutting the check, now people say, well, Andrew Yang ain't talking about reparations. No, he's not talking about reparations, but he is talking about a minimum. What is that? It's a minimum.
It's a freedom dividend.
Yeah, a freedom dividend. $1,000, no matter what happens, blah, 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 blah. He's talking about that. And, I'm tired of Kamala Harris let's have a conversation about that. The time for talk is over. I want a clear-cut plan. Williamson, she upped the money. She has a plan. And you want to know who else is starting to sound? I don't know if it's just a soundbite, but she's not giving my vote. But, like I said, actions speak louder than words. Elizabeth Warren. She's addressing a lot of women of color's issues.
Well, yeah, about the pregnancy stuff.
Yes.
And black women dying
Absolutely.
in labor.
Absolutely. These are the people you need to start listening because I'm going to study it. We ain't got time to study. The congressional black talkers.
Hell, what else do you need to know? It was promised to us, we want it.
Right. You gave this group money. Why can't you give us money? Well, we don't know what you're going to do with it. That's not your business. And that's, and that's where I'm at. But, Kamala Harris, we're going to... Ladies of color, if you're listening to me out there, listen! What the problem is... That's my Ike Turner.
Yeah.
Ladies, this woman started her professional career as a side chick. That's a fact. Doesn't mean she's a bad person. She did it the right way. Am I correct? I'm going to applaud her for that. Girl, you use what you had to get what you want. Amen. Amen. Good for you. But I'm not going to sit up here and support a woman that willingly locked disproportionately poor people's parents up and locked innocent people up because she could ask questions at a Senate hearing. I'm not going to do, the sound bites and all that other stuff. I don't need a conversation, Kamala. I need solutions. Cut the fucking check. If you're not talking about it, we're not doing it. Cory Booker thing, we're not doing it. But back to Joe Biden. Should he get our vote? I say absolutely not. He's not talking reparations. I don't feel he's very, very sorry. When you're that old, and here's another thing to say, well, the Republican Party's full of old, rich white men. What's Joe Biden?
He's up there.
So what's the difference?
Joe Biden is up there.
But again, it goes back to what I've been telling you from day one. These parties are exactly the same. Same people, same donors, same this. Why is it that they are trying to keep Bernie, and he's a old white man too, keep him from getting the thing, but he's got grassroots support. Your boy, But your boy, what's his name? O'Rourke?
Beto?
Yeah, Beto.
Beto, man, whatever his name is.
Man, Beto, Flake. Here's what I think is happening in the Democratic Party. They are putting as many people in that primary to steal that election away from Bernie.
It's possible.
If the Democrats were serious about beating Trump and solving the problems that we need to solve, they would coalesce behind one candidate. Period. And say, this is our best thing to beat this guy. Because if you think Trump's going to be impeached, that's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Because these people, they're just... 10 articles of obstruction. It's there. The Democrats are like, well, I don't think... no, Nancy said we can't impeach right now. We that ain't something we don't do. We can't impeach. That's your job. It doesn't matter if the Senate doesn't impeach him. Put it on his goddamn record. And if you talk about impeachment now and you start talking about the articles of impeachment, it's going to hurt Trump as the primaries and the election comes. Because when everybody starts seeing the evidence and the facts, it is what it is. But why don't the Democrats want to show that? Why don't they want to go to the hearings and say da-da-da-da-da and do what they got to do? The legislative branch has a right to go and arrest anybody, take the sergeant at arms, and go over there and go get them and bring them in to testify. They can do that. They have that power. Why aren't the Democrats doing that?
I mean, because it's profitable for them as well. I mean, they're
Exactly.
making money. That's
Same donors. Same donors. So, is Joe Biden deserve a vote? No, he doesn't deserve a vote. And, you know, this is his third time running. One time he ran, he got caught for plagiarism, I think in 88. And, which, you know, I don't care anything about that. But then again, I do care because if you're a serial cheater, that, you know, it is what it is. But he's known as a fader. If you're going to put your money on this man, you're putting your money on the wrong horse. If you put your money on Kamala Harris, she will not be the nominee. It's not going to happen. Now, again, a lot of people ask me, well, who do you think? Even though he has a long shot, he's a dark horse. Andrew Yang has a platform. You go to any of these bodies, anybody's website but Andrew Yang, and there's nothing on it. You go to this guy. How many did he have on there?
When I looked, it was about 78-ish.
Common sense stuff that you can read. Now, I know your boy O'Rourke or Beto, he has this climate change thing, but have you noticed?
Oh, that's new because when I looked, there was nothing on it.
Right. But isn't that funny, though? When we're talking, they want our vote, they're courting our vote, but when we say, okay, what about us? They don't have a plan. Kamala doesn't have a plan. So what's Kamala's plan now? What do you think she had to do?
She had to go back to the drawing board.
She went back to the HBCs where she started and trying to get support from them dumb niggas over there.
I ain't calling people from an HBCUs dumb niggas. That's
Those
him.
are some dumb. Those are some dumb Negroes. Because if you're going to still support this woman, knowing what her record is, and she tells you all the time, "Look at my record," you're a dumb Negro.
She's their soror.
Yeah, and what they teach her, girl, be the side chick and get your money, girl. What's wrong with your education? This woman sidestepped Demetra, who worked at that job for 15 years, because she slept with a man that was married.
I mean, what's new?
I know, but that's what I'm saying, though. So, when they say sororos, and I support Greeks and all that stuff. I think that's important when you're in college and stuff. But here on the West Coast, it's not really big here. Back in the South, it's big. More power to you guys. It doesn't do much over here. However, if that's what they're teaching those girls in those sororos, hey, I'm all for it.
I mean, I don't think you want to go on a limb and say that's what they're teaching them.
I said if that's what they're teaching.
I mean, even though there's one or two or something like that recently that caught up in this prostitution ring, but I think they're learning a little bit more than
No.
that.
No. Like I said, I've got a lot of friends that are Greeks. I have nothing against it, but what I'm saying is, do not take this woman and uplift her as if she's this.
Well, this is just my personal opinion. Cause
I don't want to hear your damn personal opinion.
I just think Kamala's already done.
Yeah,
I think that the damage,
you can talk. It's been done.
I think that because people don't even really talk about Kamala anymore.
She will not be the nominee
because people, and I
she blew it.
Black people, especially in America, the ADOS or ADOS, however you want to say
black
it.
media,
black media, especially. Doing their homework and due diligence and putting the message out about Kamala. So I don't even think, I'm not saying we should stop talking about her. We should just keep reminding people. But right now, Joe Biden is, in my opinion, I think he is going to end up getting I'm just telling you my opinion.
Sure.
I think he's going to end up getting the nomination.
Okay.
So.
And then she's going to lose to Trump.
Right now, because I think that's really where it's going. We need to do our job and just talking to people, as we said before with Kamala, talking to people about who Joe Biden is. Because I took a couple of days after he announced on my page on Facebook, having back and forth with different people and lots of stuff people didn't know. And, why am I being this way? And, I don't like nobody. Well, who will you vote for? And Joe is not a bad... So a lot of people just don't know. But when you go at them with facts instead of this, then people will understand. but it's the way you give the message to them.
Deliver.
People need to know, Joe was cool while he was with Obama, but now he's talking about taking the helm. You gotta, like, people, and I liken it to a resume. You go to a job, they want to know where you've been and what you've been doing. That is on Joe Biden's resume. The laws and the policies that he wrote and enacted, and he did it so passionately. That's on his resume. Those things that'd be different if he jaywalked. We're not talking about something like jaywalking. We're talking about something about like mass incarceration of black people due to a fallacy, a lie. And we know that because his argument is, well, it was the medical evidence that swayed my opinion. We can think of a whole host of medical, quote unquote, opinions that have damaged black people. The Tuskegee experiment. What else was it? The father of gynecology. He became the father. They just removed his statue not too long ago, but he became the father of gynecology by experimenting on black slave women and children, causing the death of a lot of black women and black children, a lot of times operating on them with no anesthesia, just a whole, and Dr. Joyce DeGruy talks about that in her post-traumatic stress disorder masterpiece, as I call it. But there's a lot of medical evidence, as we talked about earlier, with the cocaine and the opioid thing about what it would do to black men and what they ultimately do white women. So the point I'm making is these white people justify the stuff they do to black people with medical evidence that's highly flawed. As Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, and she's the author of the ISIS paper. She's no longer here, but she argued with, had a debate with William Buckley, and he was
the father of modern conservatism.
Yeah, big time racist, and he had all these genetically, just stupid stuff he was saying that had no medical background, but this is the stuff they believe. Right. And so here Joe Biden is in the 80s and the 90s. He's on the Senate floor, or whatever the case is, arguing why people should be locked up, and it's black people. And so, as we said earlier, how these people are still incarcerated, but yet he's sorry. You didn't jaywalk, dude. You didn't do something that just harmed you. In fact, it didn't harm you at all. And who knows, does Joe have stocks or anything in these prisons?
Probably.
That he sent a lot of these people to? So now I'm sorry? Come on. As a black person, you couldn't do one fraction of the things that he's done to white people and just say, I'm sorry.
Where's a candidate that said, you look at the guy's record and they said, wow, they were in the black community and they did this and Kim Kardashian has done more for black people than any of the candidates that are up there right now. She went and got somebody out of prison.
Well, and that's kind of a misnomer.
Well, yeah, but we know what I mean. You know where I'm going with that.
She was the face of it.
Right.
Now, she didn't go do no paperwork and all. She was the face of it, which I'm not saying anything bad about it. It helped. But, so, Joe has done a lot of damage to black people, and there's a lot of black children who didn't grow up with their parents because their parents were locked up
under
due to the
bill.
legislation that he wrote, argued for, with flawed information, and that is where his apology comes from. And I was given bad information.
Do you know what the sad thing is?
What's the sad thing?
You've got mothers, daughters, who were affected by this man's bill that are right now wanting to vote for him.
Well, I mean, just take him at his own word that he was given bad information. Let's say you do get at the helm of the presidency and you get bad information.
Yeah.
What, are you going to act upon it?
Right. You guys, don't forget to tune in Sundays, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the Demetra K Show. And on the show, she talked about this thing called forgiveness. The video is up. I already went to the thing and took care of that. But the video is up and stuff like that. And she's talking about the Donald Byrd and why black people...
Donald Byrd. That's places and
spaces
out there. I'm talking about James Byrd.
James Byrd. I'm sorry. James Byrd, the man that was dragged in Texas, horrifically. And the second perpetrator was put to death last week. Rightly so. Let's get some applause for that. And
that'll be up by the time y'all see this.
Yes, and that'll be up. But she talks about forgiveness, and in the black community, we are so quick to forgive something that, it is what it is. Just let it go. So check that out, and that kind of ties into what we're talking about right now in regards to Joe Biden. But moving forward, does Joe Biden deserve the black vote? Absolutely not.
Do your research, people.
Do your research.
It's not even hard stuff to research.
Right, exactly. 1975, and as a matter of fact, as we tune out here, I'm going to show you guys a video of Joe actually speaking on the House floor. His own words. He can't run from it. See you guys in the second hour.
Peace.